we have now found ourselves in our mathematical awesome journey at a stop that involves solving equations that involve multiplication. So these are one-step multiplication equations. Now, before we get into why our solution process works for solving an equation like that, I want to get into a property called the division property of equality. It's very simple. Let's say that we've got two numbers, each of which are equal. So I'm writing down here 10 equal to 10. And you might be like, yeah, I know that 10 is equal to 10. It's pretty obvious. So if I have 10 equal to 10, what the division property of equality says is, I can divide the same number to both sides of a true equation, and I will then get a result of a true equation. So let's see if that works out. Well, if I divide both sides, and I like to divide using fraction bar notation. Let's say that we divide both sides by 2. 10 divided by 2 is going to be 5, and then 10 divided by 2 is 5. So you could also have shown that with a division sign, 10 division by 2, 10 division by 2. It means the same thing. I like to use this fraction bar. It's going to come in handy as we do out problems over here. So that is the division property of equality. Very simple stuff. We're going to now use it to explain how and why we can solve one-step multiplication equations. I'm going to start out with a little bit of mental math. And let me erase this, give ourselves a little bit of room. Here we go. So if I look at this problem right here, I'm saying 5 times some number m equals 35. Well, what number times 5 gives 35? 7. 7 times 5 equals 35. So mental math-wise, I already know that m equals 7 is my solution. Now, if you listen to what we just stated, it makes sense that we need to divide to get m alone to solve for it. The reason being is we said what number, this guy, times 5 gives me 35. That is literally the definition of division. So it makes sense that we would divide to solve for m. The way I like to think of it is what undoes the operation that is being done to m? Well, currently it's 5 times m, and I realize it might not look like that because it's a 5 right next to the m, but that is another way of saying 5 times m. So how do we undo multiplication? That would be with division, and I'm going to use the fraction bar notation there. Whatever I do to one side of an equation, I must do to the other to keep the equation true. So I'm automatically going to do this. I don't do any operation on the left-hand side until I've done the same operation to the right-hand side. Now I'm going to simplify. 5 divided by 5 is 1, and in multiplication that is canceling out. So they divide out, leaving me with 1 times m, or just m. So 5 divided by 5 is 1 times m is m. And that is equal to, now let's do our work over here on the right-hand side, focusing in on that. 35 divided by 5 is 7. And that's our answer, which we knew from some mental math before, but I want you to understand the how and the why for solving equations by undoing operations. Now let's check our answer. To check our answer, we replace m with 7. Remember, m is this blank spot. You can represent it with parentheses or a tank, some kind of opening. And we're going to plug in 7 for m and see that 5 times 7 equals 35. And since 35 is 35, we know that 7 is our answer. You now have the ability to see why and how to solve one-step multiplication equations.